Hey, Garage Logic fans, I do a podcast on the Garage Logic Network that comes out every Wednesday and Friday now, twice a week. But here's an important caveat. There is zero logic available in my show, in the formal definition of logic. Of course, life is a yin and yang kind of thing. There's the logic side, and then there's the what the hell side, which needs to get its exercise. So come for the what the hell and stay for the you've got to be kidding me. Mishki, now Wednesdays and Fridays, twice a week.
Hail the Flashlight King.
Hail you! And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your Flashlight King, Fireworks Commissioner, and the Keeper of Common Sense, your Mayor, Joe Souchere.
Nope. Reavers here in the Garage Logic podcast studios with a best of Garage Logic one-day edition with the mayor tending to matters for today. And you know what? This show is a repeat. I think most of you Geelers have probably heard the show, but this is in honor of young Matthew Mikulski becoming a grandfather just about a couple of days ago, in fact. And I thought it'd be fun to replay an interview that we had with former Governor Jesse Ventura that was here. Oh, boy, this is a couple of years ago now. I can't exactly remember the day. However, it doesn't matter. Anyway, this is in honor of Matthew becoming a grandfather for the first time, and also because he worked with Jesse for a number of years on the old legendary AM 1500. So I hope you enjoy the best of Garage Logic. Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser. Fratelloni's Ace Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic podcast number 500. I know you were expecting me to say number 499, but we've had controversy that will be explored or explained later in the show. November 16th, 2020, 68 degrees was the high on this day, and that occurred in 1953, and it was 2 below in 1933.
And now, from the mayor's office, above the boathouse, on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Rookie on production, Chris Reavers, director of social media, John Haidt in the newsroom, and occasionally Kenny from the Krabby Coffee Shop. Here is your Flashlight King, Fireworks Commissioner, and Keeper of Common Sense, your Mayor, Joe Souchere.
We are joined by former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura. Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
You want me to call you Jesse or Governor?
Call me Governor.
I'll call you Governor. How frequently in the last 4 years, and particularly maybe in the last year, have you been sought out for your commentary about what's taking place in the United States?
Well, surprisingly not a lot, Joe, because I kind of am totally boycotting United States media and have been for some time.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because I was involved in a lawsuit a few years ago, a defamation lawsuit and an unjust enrichment lawsuit, and won the case, the American Sniper case, one in front of a jury, one in front of a judge, and it went to the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals, where I find it to be corrupt, I find it to be horrible. They broke two of their major rules to overturn my case and take it away from the jury. And part of the reason was, at that point of the trial, 32 major media conglomerates of the United States came into the case
Okay.
to have it overturned.
This is the Chris Kyle case that you've settled, by the way. It's over, right?
Right. Well, I was more or less forced to settle after they returned it for a second trial. And imagine this for a moment, Joe. How overwhelming must the evidence have been for the jury to find for me against the dead war hero, his widow, and 6 of his buddies in uniform trying to convince the jury that the event happened when it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the jury found for me.
And the settlement, as I understand it, because you don't want to be painted as a bad guy, the settlement, as I understand it, did not come from Chris Kyle's widow.
Oh, not at all.
No.
She was in no danger ever.
Right.
When he died, the legal system then automatically passed it to her.
I got you.
You know, that's where it goes. She was in no danger. The book company and their insurance were paying the freight for all of her lawyers, the expense, everything. And so basically it was me against the insurance companies. But here's where the glitch came. I won a second thing called unjust enrichment, which is a Minnesota law. And what that means is that you can't go out and commit a wrongdoing and profit from it. It would be like, Joe, let's say you and I, we got both clean records, and we went out and robbed the bank, right?
Yep.
Okay, we get away with $1 million, but we're a couple lunkheads. We have no experience. We get caught.
How much would you get on the $1 million?
Let's hold on now. Now, we then go to jail.
Right.
Okay? Hypothetically, we're good criminals. We watch it, you know, we're good. We get probation after 3 years.
Okay.
Well, what the court then ruled is that we could then go get our money.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That if you spent a couple years in jail, you could keep the money you stole.
All right.
Because what the media had to do here was unjust enrichment. This was catapulting to fake news. It opened the door for it or helped.
Yeah.
Because now they can lie about anybody, profit from it, and face no penalty for doing it financially.
Well, if you haven't been approached frequently, I am anxious to seek your counsel on exactly.
Well, let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were. Yeah.
I have not also been approached because, see, I work for RT now, Russian television.
Right.
And I've been there 4 years, and they pay me for my opinion.
Okay.
So I figured, hell, I'd rather go with the people that pay me than to work for the media who stuck it to me. And now I get to help their ratings and make them money. The hell with them. I'm not going to make them any money anymore, so I'm not talking to them, and I don't. Anything that I say, I do through RT.
But it's Russian.
So what?
It's the Ruskies, Jesse.
Well, let me put it to you this way, Joe.
All right.
They're about the best company I've ever worked for.
Really?
Yeah. They when I signed with them, they give me 3 months vacation paid, January, February, and March to go to my home in Mexico.
Right.
So who gets 3 months vacation?
Not me.
That's right.
Joe only gets 2.5, Governor.
Okay. Anyway, though, they also during the course when I signed with them, they offered me full health care.
Okay.
And I declined it because I had it through the Screen Actors Guild, and I didn't want to create trouble because if you get two carriers, they're going to fight with each other.
Right.
So I did not declined it. Well, partway through, I'm in Mexico. I get a letter from my 30-year union. Been a member for 30 years, vested.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled and took my health care from me because I wasn't working in the industry out in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost my health care. Now, my wife and I got to face something here. What do we do? Then it hit me. Wait a minute. RT offered me health care. I called them up. I told them the situation, how my 30-year union just dumped me. Don't have my health care. Would there be a chance? Could I reconsider and get it? The Russian lady goes, Governor, I'll get back to you in about 10 days. I said, thank you. She never did. In 6 days, Blue Cross Blue Shield cards arrived for my wife and I.
Really?
Yeah. So the Russians had no problem with giving me my health insurance. They also built a studio right in my basement. So during the pandemic, it doesn't affect me work a bit because all I do is walk downstairs and hit 3 switches.
Have you ever been to Russia?
Yep.
You have?
I went over. They flew me over there before I signed. I went to this 10th anniversary. It was of RT. It was the infamous one they all talk about. Let's see who. Gorbachev was there. Putin was the keynote speaker. Jill Stein was there. Various other people. I didn't see if General Flynn was there or not. I didn't notice him. I met Gorbachev that night. Here's an interesting note that took place, too. During my entire trial, federal, the federal judges in everything they wrote, they never once referred to me as governor. I was called Ventura. Yet when I went to Russia, Vladimir Putin walked all the way across the room to me, came over, introduced himself, held out his hand. He said, "Thank you, Governor." I said, "You're welcome, Mr. President." He said, "I want to assure you I will never interfere in your show in any way, shape, or form. You have complete artistic control." I said, "Thank you." And for 4 years now, he's been a man of his word.
All right.
He has not interfered in my show. I can say anything I want, and they've been wonderful.
How do people see this show in America?
Well, the RT is the second largest in the world, following only the BBC.
Okay.
It depends if your carrier has it.
All right.
Now, I get DirecTV, where I'm at up here in White Bear.
Yeah.
And it's channel 321 on DirecTV. I don't know what it is on other carriers. I know some carry it, some don't. Here's the other good part, Joe, you'll enjoy. We have to register as foreign agents. Now, where is our media on this? Where is our First Amendment outcry? That we have to read. I cannot go on the floor of Congress because I work for RT. I'm offended over that. I'm a Navy Vietnam veteran. I'm a mayor. I'm a governor. I've paid taxes to this country my entire life, and I can't go on the floor of Congress because I work for RT.
I'm unaware of that. I would think your American citizenship would trump that.
Well, the problem is this. You're unaware of it because our media won't talk about it because we're their rival and they don't want us here.
Okay.
Because we do a better job than they do. You know how I can prove that? Simple. I've interviewed for every media there is, national, local, whatever it might be. And they all got a little system, especially the national, NBC, CBS, CNN and all them.
Yeah.
They do what's called a pre-interview, where they call you earlier in the day and they get you to talk so that they can then adjust the interview accordingly. If they don't want you to talk about a certain thing, they know and they can steer away from it.
All right.
Well, we at RT, I can tell you, we have never, ever done a pre-interview.
We'd have never either on Garage Logic.
Yeah, well, I don't do them. I simply, Joe, I bring a guest on, I tell their credentials, I let the guest talk on the subject, and it's up to you, the listener. Decide if you believe the person or not.
You take COVID very seriously. You and I are about the same age. You
Yep.
take it very seriously. How would you have handled it if you were the President of the United States?
How would I handle it?
Yes.
Thank you. That's a good question. When it gets to those things, Joe, I go back to my military experience.
All right.
And in the military, you learn one thing, something our current president is unaware of. And that because he didn't serve, he's a draft dodger.
Right.
Anyway, you learn that you have to do things sometimes that you don't particularly agree with. And you learn you have to do things that maybe you don't like.
All right.
But you still do them. It's required. You do them. You grit your teeth and get the job done. To me, this country they were on the right. First of all, they shouldn't have been lied to.
Right.
When Trump found out in January how deadly this thing was, let me put it to you this way, Joe. If Donald Trump would have been the commanding officer of my underwater demolition team, he would have been relieved of his command. He would never command again. He would probably face a court-martial in Portsmouth Naval Prison. This is the commander-in-chief of our military now. He lied to the troops. He covered it up, and he did it for his own personal gain and put the people or his troops in danger for his own personal gain. If you did that as a commanding officer, they would take your command so fast your head would spin, you'd be court-martialed and go to prison.
So, for starters, you would have been out front with the American public.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You cannot take, you have to tell the truth, tell them what they need to do, and then, of course, they need to respond, and that's where I'm disappointed in the American people today.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact that my mom and dad were both World War II veterans, and not many people can say their mom was.
Right.
My mom served in North Africa before Normandy.
Right.
And then the people truly had to suffer, and they had rationing. The people truly had to give up things.
Right.
All we're being asked to do is wear a lousy mask,
right,
and distance yourself. My mom spent her entire adult working life wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
She was the head nurse in surgery at North Memorial Hospital. Right?
Right.
Well, I mean, come on. If masks don't work, why do they wear them in surgery, and are they required?
Right.
To stop germs. Simple. And yet we as a people have these phony baloney patriots, they call themselves, who sit out there and say, I'm not going to wear a mask. Well, we have speed limits. We have other rules you have to follow, and your liberty stops the moment you infringe upon mine.
What do you think of the divide in this country?
It's horrifying.
Could you solve it?
I could have if I'd have been elected president.
How would you have solved it?
Simple, just get elected.
Okay.
All right.
No, I'll tell you why, Joe. You already saw the blueprint in Minnesota.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what had happened. I told people this. I said, this is what would happen. They, meaning the Dems and Repubs, the two gangs, they need a common enemy. Okay, in Minnesota, when I won in 98, same situation almost. I had a Democratic Senate and a Republican House.
Mm-hmm.
Whomever I aligned with generally prevailed.
Mm-hmm.
That worked until the third year. Then in the third year, they got in bed together.
Mm-hmm.
They started singing Kumbaya. I submitted the budget, which the governor has to do. They threw my budget out. They came back with their own budget. I looked at it. My key person, Pam Wheelock, their budget was horrible. It was a bad budget. It was bad. I vetoed it. They overrode my veto. They passed it over my head a second time. I vetoed it again. That's all I could do. And then they passed it. Well, I fooled them. I didn't run for re-election, so I didn't have to work under their budget. I left them with it. What happened in Minnesota after I left? You faced a $5 billion deficit, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the result of the Democrats and Republicans putting their parties before the people.
Do you regret not running for a second term? Do you regret not running for a second term as you look back?
Oh, yes and no.
Yeah.
My only yes would be I always wanted to get unicameral, one house.
Yep.
And I couldn't succeed in doing that in one term. I don't know if I could have a second term succeeded or not, because it's a big thing to do. You know, get rid of the Senate, basically.
As governor, you were, if not the lead man, you were extremely influential in bringing light rail to the Twin Cities.
Yep.
Do you regret that?
Not a bit.
All right.
Not a bit, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
Why I did it. I went to Denver, and I saw Denver so far in front of us, it's laughable.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went there, economically, if businesses are going to come to the city of Minneapolis, say,
mm-hmm.
first thing the business is going to say is, okay, where do our workers park? Mm-hmm. Well, yes, in my day, now maybe it's changed today, but let's go back to 2000, we would have had to answer, nowhere, we're full.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the parking in Minneapolis was full.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't get another car down there. What's the second business thing the business is going to say? Well, how's the mass transit?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't have any. Really? Well, then how do my people get to work? If there's no parking and there's no mass transit, what do they take, cabs?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I looked at this. You cannot be a thriving metropolis in America without some form of mass transit, and Minneapolis-St. Paul was woefully behind. We had nothing because the mistake they made was done way back when I was a little kid. We used to have trolley cars that went all over this city.
Right.
And the gas industry and the car industry got us to tear them up, throw them out, and did you know our trolley cars are still running in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Today?
I had heard there are also some in Mexico.
Maybe, I don't know, but it was a shame. And so my belief was, how can you be a thriving metropolitan area and not have some form of mass transit? Like New York has its subways, Chicago has its big trains that run all through town. Well, we at least needed something.
But it's not thriving, sir. It's not paying for itself. It's not being ridden.
Really?
Right.
Well, what do you do about that?
Clean up crime in the cities, I think.
Well, I don't know. All I can tell you is that without it, you had no parking spaces in downtown Minneapolis, and and I think it serves itself well to the Dome and to all of the sports stadiums. It keeps drunk drivers off the road.
Okay.
Hopefully. And hopefully it'll build up and do better. See, the thing is, you have to have an entire system to where you could get from, say, Lake Minnetonka to Stillwater for the afternoon and not drive your car.
And Jesse, that's the way it used to be with the streetcars. Those were the exact destinations, Minnetonka to Stillwater.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, that's the mistake that was made, Joe, was way back when. And then, of course, I should get you going now. I'm getting rid of my entire... basically my entire cylinder index.
No. No.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to Teslas. No.
You're going to what?
I'm selling my Porsches. You want them?
Oh, I'd certainly like to talk to you about it.
Because I'm going to Teslas.
You are, huh?
Oh, absolutely. It's the Tesla Roadster cannot be beaten.
Kenny Olson would love to ask you a question, sir.
Governor, you touched on something briefly, and Joe changed the subject. You brought up loyalty to the party as opposed to loyalty to the people, which I kind of believe is part of the problem, that we're at such odds with each other right now. How do we change the fact that the Dems and the Republicans are loyal to the party and not to us? What do we do to change that?
Well, you have to stop electing them, which is virtually almost impossible because they've created a system that benefits only themselves.
That's right.
It's a two-party... Ralph Nader had it right when he called it the two-party dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right on with that. And see, the whole system is set up to keep any third entity out of the game. Are you familiar what happened in the 90s with Ross Perot?
Sure.
Well, it's an interesting story because Perot got 1 out of 5 votes in 92. Then in 96, he wasn't even allowed to debate. Why? Because Clinton and Dole cut a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Dole didn't want Perot in the debates because Perot eroded from his conservative base. Clinton didn't want debates at all because he was so far ahead he didn't need them. And so they cut him down to 2 debates. They were held by design on the same night as the World Series. And that was the deal that was cut, and Perot was then eliminated from debating. Can you imagine? You get 1 out of 5 votes in America the previous election, and no one's allowed to hear you 4 years later?
It's amazing.
And see, that's what's got to happen. We have to take our government back from these 2 parties. Hey, I believe it was John Adams stated, one of our founding fathers, he said, when political parties take over the country, that'll be the end of the country.
Yep.
Have you been satisfied with the Trump presidency?
Don't hold back, Governor. Don't hold back.
Tell me, I want to know what you think. That's why we're talking today.
He had an opportunity to do some great things, and he accomplished a few.
Mm-hmm.
But his first big mistake, and maybe it wasn't a mistake because he won, and I can't deny the fact that he won the 2016 election. He just did it differently than I would have.
Mm-hmm.
He did it by becoming a far-right evangelical Republican, which he's not.
No.
That's the biggest laughable joke I've ever seen, watching him stand there with a... Let me put it to you this way. How do you think the Republicans would have reacted if Barack Obama had been married 3 times and had kids from 3 different wives?
Well, I think it would have been outrage.
Exactly. And yet the evangelical right totally embraces Trump. You know? I mean, what hypocrisy is that?
Yeah, it's
And so when he joined the far right, that's when he really lost me. And then what really put him over the edge with me, where I had no time for him anymore, I didn't agree with the guy on everything, but when he trashed John McCain.
Yep. Yeah.
Because John McCain was a POW who spent a great deal of time in the Hanoi Hilton.
That had to be hard on you to hear him say that.
Oh, I'll tell you, when he did that, I thought, you a draft dodger. And let me tell you something, a little story here. Every guy that served in the military as an enlisted man can relate this same story. Doesn't matter if you're Marine, Navy, Army, whatever. You know, the first night of boot camp, you'll go to boot camp the first night, and one guy there in the middle of the night will go crazy, schizophrenic, wet the bed, cry for his mom, go nuts. In the middle of the night, the authorities will come in and remove him. While you're in boot camp, out of sight, out of mind, that's the last you see or hear of that person. You don't know what becomes of them. Well, I think I can confidently say that person would have been Donald Trump, who would wet the bed, cry for his mom, and do everything else to get out of going. And what he did to John McCain, I'll never forgive him for. And then when he comes out and calls us Vietnam guys suckers, well, you know, we didn't have rich fathers. He's your typical rich white boy who didn't have to go. You know, there's only one rich white boy I know that went. You know who that was?
Kerry?
Huh?
Kerry?
No, went in the military and went to Vietnam.
McCain?
No, rich white boy. Oliver Stone.
Well, I also mentioned John Kerry. Wasn't he a rich white guy?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But my personal is Oliver Stone.
Right.
Because you know that in Platoon, the Charlie Sheen character is Oliver Stone.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I learned that from his son, Sean, because I said to Sean, I worked with Sean, and I asked Sean one day, I said, Sean, when your dad did Platoon, I said, the Charlie Sheen character, I said, that was him, wasn't it? And Sean kind of looked around, looked at me, and nodded and said, yeah. So the Sheen character is, because remember when he's there and he quit the big Ivy League school, joined the infantry, go to Vietnam, and the black actor goes, man, we got us here a crusader.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that
I do
scene?
remember that.
What we got here is a crusader. I'll always laugh over that scene. But, no, and, you know, Trump was a rich white boy. Rich white boys didn't go to Vietnam. I grew up in South Minneapolis, where if you could manage to go to college, you did. But if you had to go to work, guess where you ended up? Vietnam. You know, and so I've got those scars that I carry with me. And when I hear someone like Donald Trump insult people who have more guts than he would ever have, and it bothers me every time I see him salute as the commander-in-chief. And I don't know how these people run around with the flag. And then he comes out and says he's the most patriotic American.
Yeah.
He comes out and he wants his face up on Mount Rushmore.
Right. What do you think of Joe Biden?
I don't much. I think, in a way, maybe we needed Joe because he's level-headed and he's the exact opposite of Trump. You know, maybe that, but to me personally, we needed someone independent, but they made sure this was the year to do it, but they made sure you couldn't. The Green Party blew it with me, you know. I went to them and said, if you'll give me a clear path to your nomination, I'll run. They wouldn't do it.
Why?
They did a preliminary poll, Fox News. It was unbelievable. They put Trump, Biden, and me up there, and I polled 18%, not even running. And in a 3-person race, Joe, I can tell you I only need 20 more, but then, of course, you got to work in the Electoral College, which throws it all out of whack.
What do you think of the direction the Democratic Party is taking? Is it any different than the direction the Republican Party is taking? In other words, are we going to the extremes on both sides?
We're on certain things, but then on other things, they're right singing Kumbaya like they always do together. Like if it's time to go to war in the Middle East, they got no problems with that, singing Kumbaya and both getting... See, they're all controlled by their corporate donors. And the corporations are the ones that dictate where the Democrats and Republicans are headed.
What do you think of the so-called squad? Ilhan Omar, Anya Presley, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Tashib, whatever her name is.
What do I think of them?
Yeah.
They were elected by their constituents and they're congresswomen in the United States and deserve their full respect. It's that simple.
All right.
They were. Hey, Omar wins huge.
I know she does. Yes.
Jesus, and those are her people. That's who she represents.
Right.
They want her. Give her due.
You have a better attitude about it than I do.
Well, yeah, it's
I
the
don't
same
know,
here.
but to me, it always, Joe, goes back to the people.
Yeah.
I thought that one guy, that soft-spoken black guy, might take her.
Lacey Johnson.
No. The guy in the Democratic primary.
Oh, okay. His name's escaping me.
Yeah, I can see his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had money. Jeez, he was running an ad every 10 minutes, damn near, it seemed like. And she blasted him right out. And so obviously she is extremely popular with her constituents. And isn't that what she's supposed to be?
I can't argue with that fact. Yes.
Well, you obviously don't live in her district.
No, I do not.
And you probably wouldn't move there.
Kenny Olson does.
I do, Governor. Actually, I live really close to Roosevelt, Governor, and I got to feel like I'm not.
Represent Roosevelt?
Yeah, she represents that district down there in South Minneapolis, and I don't feel like I'm represented at all. Not at all, sir.
Well, then move.
Yeah, actually, the house is on the market.
Jesse, you were thinking of Antoine Melton Mew.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he had those ads, and I thought, gee, he's a soft-spoken, very intelligent man, and maybe because she's so controversial, he'll beat her. Shoot, she blew him out of the water, and then she took care of the other guy, so it's clear that her constituents like her, and as far as the other three throughout the country, what's the matter with getting their opinion?
All right. Where do you...
Joe, we're supposed to be the melting pot of the world.
Right.
We're supposed to be the place where everybody comes to and survives, and we are the epitome. I've already come out and said we ought to take down the Statue of Liberty and put it in a damn museum.
Yeah.
Because we don't follow the thing on it.
Yeah.
We don't want your poor no more. We don't want your downtrodden. We only want your rich people and them that have jobs.
Where do you stand on Trump's refusal to concede?
It's ridiculous.
All right.
It's utterly ridiculous. He's harming the country. He's playing into the hands of anybody that wishes ill to this country, because if you can get the people of this country to not believe their elections, which I think it's an insult to all those people out there that defied the COVID virus, busted their asses, and counted those votes, Democrats and Republicans. They were all watched. Even Trump's main guy in Homeland Security said this was possibly the most secure election we've had in this century. And for him to pull the crap he's pulling now because he can't face he lost.
Right.
It's what type of example, and I guess to his followers they think he's wonderful.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Well,
72 million people voted for the man.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what causes me to take a deep breath and go, boy, I didn't realize there were 72 million.
Hang on.
Watch yourself, buddy. Watch yourself, buddy.
Tread lightly.
Well, I'm not running again, so I don't have to please nobody.
Yeah, that's true. Let them have it, Governor.
I'm not running, and I laugh when I went to Wheelock Whitney's funeral.
Yeah.
Governor Carlson was there, and he got up, he said one of the funniest lines I've ever heard out of him, and unfortunately it was at Wheelock's funeral. He said, "Everybody tells me run, Arnie, run." He goes, "Hell, I can barely walk."
Speaking of that, Governor, when Trump did win the election back in 2016, I believe it was Joe or somebody on the show said that you running in 98 laid the groundwork for him being elected in 2016.
Well, we didn't necessarily lay the groundwork for him, but we did a little because he came and met with me.
Oh, he did?
Oh, God, yes.
Oh.
I'm forever getting pictures sent to me that I refuse to sign.
Okay.
Oh,
Me and
interesting.
him standing together. Mm-hmm. No, he flew in here to meet with me. And the big thing he took from me, that you'll all know, and this is what he took from me. When I ran for governor of Minnesota, I didn't do fundraisers. I didn't give a crap about the money.
All right.
I had name recognition as long. I won the I only raised $300,000, Joe.
Really?
Yeah. And that year the Dems and Repubs spent combined $12 million to beat me, and I won. So I raised $300,000, and I told my people, I said, "Look, I don't want to do fundraisers. I hate them. I dislike them. My mom and dad raised me. You get paid for work done. You don't come up to people and say, 'Give me money so I can go do this job.'" But I realize it's a necessary evil. You have to do ads and you have to do all that stuff. But today it's evolved into jobs. Every one of these campaigns are nothing but job things where people get paid. It's all the transfer of money. Anyway, that aside, when I ran raising $300,000, I went out and I told them, book every college in Minnesota. And they told me, "Are you crazy?" They said, "College kids don't vote." I said, "They've never had a chance to vote for Jesse the Body." I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "If you book me at the college, they'll be hanging from the rafters, and those kids are going to vote." So they did it.
Yeah, they did.
I went to all the colleges, and it was just like I thought. Kids, I went to Carleton. I went to the exclusive schools here. Went to all kids hanging from the rafters. Couldn't believe, Then they came to me and said, "Look, you can't coach football on Friday night. We need you to campaign." And I said, "Baloney." I said, "I coach in the toughest league in the state," which we were at the time. We drew 8,000 people to 10,000 people to every game every night. I said, "If you can put me in front of 8,000 people every Friday night, then I won't coach."
All
He
right.
said, "Well, we can't do that." I said, "Then get out of here. I'm coaching."
All right.
I'm in front of 8,000 people every Friday night. You know when I knew I was going to win the election?
When?
When we were playing, I was at Champlin Park, and we were playing our arch rival, Coon Rapids, right across the river in their stadium.
Right.
We go over there to play them, their arch rival, Coon Rapids Champlin, and on the other side of the field, the Coon Rapids side, they unreeled a banner. Said, "Go, Jesse, go."
Really?
Nice.
And I stood there a minute and thought, now they're a rival.
Yeah.
And if they took time to make a banner, I'm going to win this thing. But anyway, getting back to Trump and all that, what I did, I went to rallies. I went to things where people gathered, and I'll tell you this, if they show up at a rally, they're voting for you.
Right.
Because they ain't going to take time to go there.
Well, he certainly seized on the rally idea.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing he stole from me was the rallies. I didn't raise money. I held rallies, and we did that on the college campuses. And you won't remember because it's not near and dear to you, but I have it framed downstairs, the Enemy newspaper.
Yeah.
And it says Ventura wins the day after the election. And right underneath it in the sub-headline, throngs of young voters turn out.
Yes, they did.
That's what I was going to ask.
So proud
Yeah.
because number one, I was right, which always makes you proud.
Yep.
And number two, that I inspired the young people to get out there and become players. And that I will give Trump credit for. This last election, because of him, it inspired more people to vote than in the history of this country, and he deserves a kudos for that. The only thing is he did it because he was so shitty.
Governor, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you have a record number of voter registrations on the day of the election? Didn't we see a huge spike that day in registration?
You mean way back in '98?
Yes.
Yeah, when you ran.
We had same-day registration, and what we heard that day when we realized we were going to win, or felt we could, was that word came us that same-day registration, which Minnesota has, the lines to registrate were longer than the voting lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was a key for us. We thought they're not coming out to vote for a Dem or a Repub. They're coming out to vote for something different. And sure enough, we were right, because they predicted a 50% voter turnout because it was non-presidential. Well, I was polling 27% the day of the election. It turned out to be a 60% voter turnout, and I went from 27 to 37. There was 10% out there that they did not account for that came out and voted for me.
Governor, it's Reavers. I was a sophomore at Mankato State University, and I remember when you came through town, and there was buzz. But 3 of my buddies and I got in my car and drove back to our hometown of Faribault just to place a vote, and there was a buzz that day on campus. So you were right about the college towns for sure.
You. No, I knew it would. My message to the kids was, you complain a lot, but they're not going to listen unless you become a player.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to take an active role in electing them to their jobs. Then they will pay attention to you. If you're not an active player in them getting a job, they're going to ignore you from now to till you're old.
Did you always have an antagonistic view of the media? Does that stem from your wrestling days?
Could have. Yeah, that's very perceptive of you, Joe. It could have, because, in my day in pro wrestling, we used to live under a common term, and that was, there is no bad publicity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
As long as they're talking, you don't care. Whether it's good or bad, as long as they're talking.
But you seem to assume that the press was against you the moment you got elected.
Because they were.
Okay.
That the press is in the pocket of the two parties.
Yeah.
They don't like any outside interference from any third entity or anything like that. And if they don't do it consciously, they do it subconsciously.
Why were you so hard on the city of St. Paul? It was funny, but you were hard on St. Paul.
In what way?
Oh, you said the streets were laid out by drunk Irishmen and stuff like that.
Well, that was funny.
No, here's the reason why. That was David Letterman.
Right.
And he set me up, and what could I do?
Yeah.
No, you got to remember, Joe, I'm from Minneapolis.
Right.
So I'm a Minneapolis kid.
Yep.
Now, in Minneapolis, I grew up on 32nd Street and 46th Avenue.
Okay.
You know exactly if somebody's on 38th Street, that's 6 blocks away.
Right.
Yep.
And it's that way. And then if it switches and goes to names, they're alphabetical.
Right.
Yes.
St. Paul, in my whole life, you could blindfold me, take me over there, spin me around 4 times, take off the blindfold, and I wouldn't have a clue where I was.
Yes, he's right, Such.
Even after 4 years at the Capitol, I still didn't know where I was.
So as a kid, you didn't spend any time in St. Paul?
The only time I spent in St. Paul, a friend of mine in the neighborhood, his father and mother were divorced, and his dad lived over in St. Paul, and there used to be an old store over there that sold the classic comic books.
Okay.
And we used to ride the Lake Street Selby bus to downtown St. Paul because we knew where this store was. And we would buy these classic comic books there because they had them all. And that was my only dealing with St. Paul, other than when the St. Paul kids would come to our side of the river and we'd fight with them.
Yeah.
The reason that happened was because in my day, St. Paul was a bunch of greasers and Minneapolis were the baldies.
Okay.
In Minneapolis, we were all shaving our heads.
Yeah.
And in St. Paul, they all used Brill cream.
Right.
A little dab will do you.
And they walked around with them pointed-toed shoes with the elastic on the sides.
Yes.
Yeah, that was St. Paul. See, the thing that was unique then was the two cities were as different as night and day.
Right.
The kids were different. Everything was different between the two cities, and that was kind of neat.
I agree. I wish we still had that rivalry.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, the other rivalry, Joe, was, hell, St. Paul ain't beat us in a Twin City football game in, 18 years?
Right.
When I was there, and we prevailed.
How much of your...
Minneapolis Roosevelt, we were undefeated. We played St. Paul Central in the Twin City title game and beat them 21-6 at the old brick house. And they had a team, or St. Paul Central had Dave Winfield there.
Yep.
You referenced football earlier in Champlain Park in '98. Wasn't that the year that Cretin out-recruited you guys?
No, that was the year we beat them down at the Dome.
Okay, that's what it was. All right.
Cretin was undefeated, and they had beaten Maple Grove on the way there, which Maple Grove was our second-place team in our division. So I let it be known to Greg Gagne and Vern, and their kid played for Cretin, Greg's kid.
Yep.
I said, well, you might have beat our second team, but you ain't going to beat our first team.
All right. How much?
We went out and ended Cretin Durham Hall's undefeated season.
Nice.
Beat them at the Dome.
Did you have a great relationship with your mother and father?
I'd like to think so.
Is your personality shaped by your upbringing, do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I was a latchkey kid.
What's that mean?
Well, that means both your parents work.
Okay, yeah.
So in the morning, I'd get myself off to school.
Right.
And I'd get home before they'd get home. Mm-hmm. And so they used to call that a latchkey kid.
Right.
They put a little key on the rope, and that was your necklace.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have to do that. I forget where we kept ours hidden under a flower pot or some damn.
Under the carpet where George kept the money.
Yeah, where George kept the money, right.
Jesse, Rookie has told that story. I would really love to hear it from you. It's a very charming story.
Well, my mom and dad both lived through the Depression.
Right.
And so my dad had kind of a feeling of not trusting banks fully. And we had moved from South Minneapolis after I graduated up to New Hope, close to North Memorial, so my mom was still working then. And we moved into the house up there, and my dad, of course, he was retired. He would spend all summer at the lake cabin, and my mom would go up on the weekends.
Right.
And so, but my mom liked that because when he was up there in the summer, she could do anything she wanted with the house in town.
Right.
And he wouldn't know. She'd have it done before, and he'd never notice anyway, probably. And so he goes up to the lake, right?
Yeah.
My mom had ordered, got all set up for new carpeting.
Yep.
So the old man's up at the lake, and the new carpet guys come in, and they lay in all the new carpet in the split level out in New Hope. And fortunately, they were honest carpet men.
Yep.
Because when they tore up in my dad's TV room, where he used to go watch TV all the time, he had slit the carpet, and I don't know if it was $10,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember anymore, but it was in the thousands. He had it in envelopes, and he had slid it under the carpet.
Oh, my word.
And that was his hiding place.
Right.
So these guys pull up the carpet, and there's, I don't know, $6,000, whatever it was. And fortunately, they were honest men because the guy walked down with it and handed it to my mom.
Oh, boy.
And he said, we found this under the carpet in the room right up there. Of course, my mom gets angry and hits at that damn George. What the hell is he doing? And so she's now going to make him sweat.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So she goes up to the lake that weekend, and I know about it. We all know. And she informs my dad, and his name was George, and I had a relationship. I called him George.
Yeah.
You know, and my friends did too. He was just, that's the way he liked it.
Okay.
And so she tells George she has ordered new carpet, and the new carpet men came in and put on all new carpet, and they're all over bragging about it, right? He's sitting there, right, and all of a sudden, you know, he's in a cold sweat. He knows what's there, and she ain't saying nothing about it.
Yeah.
So she makes him sit there all the way till right before dinner, right?
Yeah.
And when he's sitting down for dinner, she walks out from the bedroom with the envelopes, flops them on the table, and said, "Is this what you've been thinking about?" Naturally, he had to admit he had, and then she proceeded to chew his ass out. and warned him to never do that again. He said, like she said, what if something happened to you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, the kids wouldn't know, no one would know that you had this money stored.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the story, and it was pretty good.
That is a pretty good one. That is a pretty good one.
The better one was the first time we got him to try pot.
I got to hear this.
Well, I don't know if I dare tell it, Joe. It ain't legal here yet.
Oh, hell, it's a statute of limitations has run out.
You know what? It just so happens I want to hear your opinions on the legalization of marijuana.
Let me do that first. First and foremost, I've talked to Governor Waltz about it. He wants to make me the point man. I'm for complete legalization.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
I'll tell you why, Joe.
Okay.
I'll tell you exactly why. Cannabis has changed and given me my life back.
Really?
Yep. Without it, my life would be gone right now.
In terms of a pain fighter, you mean?
No, and it ain't even me. But my life would be gone.
I see.
Oh. She had some health issues?
She has given me permission to go public.
Okay.
Because of the reasoning. The First Lady developed a late...
A late what? You just broke up a moment.
Because I'm getting another call through. It's beeping, so we'll keep on. She developed a late-in-life seizure condition.
Oh, boy.
She was seizing 2 to 3 times a week.
Holy sheez.
And they were bad. Out of control. What can I do? Seizures, for those that don't know out there, you are so helpless when someone gets a seizure. Because all you can do is comfort them and hope they don't swallow their tongue, hope something else doesn't happen, and all that. Well, we go to the doctor. They put her on 4 different seizure medications, one after the other, after the other, after the other. None of them work. Bad side effects. Started losing her hair. In desperation, we had friends from Baja, where I live in the winter, who live in Colorado. We drove to Colorado. She had a seizure the night before in the motel. We get to Colorado. My friends go in. They got the cards at the time. They get the medicinal. At that time, 3 drops under the tongue. Terry started taking it, 3 drops under the tongue twice a day, and has not had a seizure since.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Let me repeat that, has not had a seizure since.
Boy, oh boy.
Now, we come back to Minnesota. Minnesota then legalized it. We were getting it illegally, but I didn't give a damn.
Right.
I was telling Terry, let's move to Colorado.
Yeah.
Let's get the hell out of here. And so then Minnesota legalized medicinal. Oh, she can get it here now, but you want to know what the problem is? We're so what's the word I'm looking for? Limited. That what she has to take costs me $800 a month.
Wow.
Oh, my.
You can't write it off. Your insurance won't pay for it because it's pot or cannabis. None of that. I could get the same thing in Colorado for $100 a month.
Why don't you?
Well, that's what I have to do. Well,
Yeah.
because she wants to get it here in pill form and da-da-da-da, and she goes down there, and she's comfortable in what she's getting.
All right.
And right now, I care more about her health than the money. But the point being, if we would open up like Colorado has, the prices would then drop way down, and people could get cured of sicknesses that this amazing plant can do. I spoke at the National Cannabis Convention 2 years ago. It's a, $40 billion industry waiting to happen?
Right.
Yep. And we're standing, I tried to legalize when I was governor. And we're standing on the shore watching the ship leave the harbor. We're on the dock and the ship's leaving. Did you hear about Illinois? Illinois legalized in these trying times, and in the month of July, $71 million worth of cannabis in just the state of Illinois.
Wow.
71 million. It's keeping their economy up, for cripe's sake. I mean, you're stuck in your house. What else can you do but smoke pot?
Why you could live anywhere you want in the world? Why have you remained in Minnesota?
Terry,
Okay.
she has family.
Yep.
I don't.
Right.
And I acquiesce, or what's the word,
Acquiesce.
Acquiesce.
Acquiesce, whatever it is, to her wishes.
Yep.
You know, and that you know, and she lets me get away to Mexico in the winter.
Right.
But that's the reason, really. I hate winter. I'm probably one of the few. Here's a good garage logician thing. I'm probably one of the few born and raised Minnesotans that don't know how to skate.
Well, I know you don't, because I played with you media hockey, and you were so dreadful we had to put the goalie equipment on you.
No. I didn't play goalie.
Yeah, you did.
Bull crap.
What'd you play?
I never played goal. I used to get a hat trick.
No.
Yes. Yes, because they'd bend the rules for me. I didn't have to worry about offsides.
Okay.
And there was another little thing we did. I carried my own puck. When everybody went down to the other end, I'd drop the puck and go in and score.
I swear we put goalie pads on you.
No. In fact, the greatest game I ever had, I was playing in the Make-A-Wish game, and I was teammates with a guy who had a huge run-in, and we were both laughing about it so hard in the locker room. The great rough tough from Slapshot, Jack Carlson.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I don't know if you know the story behind Jack and I.
I don't.
Well, I was doing wrestling in the AWA days with Vern.
Right.
And in those days, Vern would bring people on that he knew at the U and all that during interviews. And one day he brought on Lou Nanny. Mm-hmm. And Lou goes on and does this interview with Vern, and they're done, and I got the next interview. So I went out there and I looked at that and it said, and before we get to wrestling, I said, let me send a message here to one Mr. Lou Nanny. Yeah. I said, Nanny, anytime you want to find out how tough your tough guy is, Jack Carlson, I said, let him try me once, and we'll find out how tough Jack Carlson is. And then I went on to the wrestling interview, because in those days you could do them that way. It was great.
Yep.
Well, what happened was, at the time they played at the old Met.
Right.
Remember the old Met in Bloomington?
Yeah, Met Center.
Yeah, the Met Center.
Yep.
Well, at the Met Center, they put up big banners up there, Ventura Carlson in the parking lot after the game. And they had all this schmaz going on through that Jack and I were going to fight, find out who was tougher. And when it came down years later, we're playing in the Make-A-Wish, we're on the same team. And so we're getting dressed in the locker room, and we started talking about it, and we're both laughing like hell at how the whole thing exploded in the media. And then I looked at Jack. I says, Jack, we're on the same team tonight. I don't even know how to skate, but let's set this up. Let's you and I fight tonight.
Yeah.
And we'll fight on the same team.
Yes.
And so Jack says, great. So we go out there, and the game gets going, and I get on the ice, and I'm trying to stay upright, and Jack gets in the corner, and Jack's out there, and so we both bump into each other, and right away we drop the gloves, and we start throwing the forearms at each other and pulling the shirt off and all that stuff. And the announcer's going, we knew it had to happen. Carlson and Ventura, but they're on the same team. And so, Jack and I did the phony fight, and both of us got sent to the penalty box.
I think that's ringing a bell. I think I was there.
I got to tell you this, what a wonderful guy he was, or is.
Yeah.
Total sense of humor on it, went along with the program just great, and it's a shame he was in the playoffs and not in Slapshot.
Right. Governor, what's your relationship with Tim Walz?
Very good.
Do you like the way he's handling the pandemic?
Yep.
All right.
And I'll tell you why I have a good relationship with him.
All right.
After he won election, and I know how exciting it is to win, 24 hours later, he called me personally and scheduled a meeting with me. Mm-hmm. No other governor has ever done that. Never.
Interesting.
No other Dayton or Pawlenty never asked me about nothing. And Governor Walz set it up for the following Monday. I went to the Capitol. He and I sat in a room by ourselves for, I would say, close to 2 hours. and all he wanted to do was pick my brain.
Why do you think so many people in the state resist his edicts? They resist keeping their gatherings small. They resist the mask wearing. They resist the social distancing. Why in the world has this had to become political?
Because they're stupid.
Okay.
Is that a good, quick answer?
Yes, it is.
Right to the point. Right to the point.
I couldn't come up with a better one myself.
No, they are.
Yeah.
This is utter stupidity. The masks work. Like I said, my mom wore one 40 hours a week.
Right.
And my argument to these people is, okay, the next time you have to go in for surgery, tell the doctors and nurses they don't have to wear masks.
Right.
They don't do nothing.
Right.
See what kind of response you get, from the doctors and nurses if you do that. No, it's called stupidity. And it's called turning something that shouldn't be political, that is a health issue, into politics. And we have only the guy in the White House to thank for it. The buck stops with him.
As you look back on your life, are you proud of the fact that you were governor?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, how would you not be?
Yeah.
Joe, when I grew up in South Minneapolis, the last thing that would have ever passed my mind was that I would end up the governor of the state.
I can imagine that. It would never have crossed your mind.
Never. I fell into politics really by a mistake, really. It was just over an issue up in Brooklyn Park.
Right.
A neighborhood issue. And when I saw how corrupt the actual politics were, I just felt the need to participate and do something about it.
Who was the Shrubgate? Who was that? Bob?
That was Bob Stromberg.
Bob Stromberg.
Yeah, Shrubgate.
What Shrubgate?
He had the city cutting his own shrubs, and that was.
No, I got a phone call from a constituent. I'm mayor, and she says, "Why are the city crews over at Councilman Stromberg's house doing his landscaping?" And I said, "Well, I didn't know they were." They said, "You ought to take a drive by." So I jumped in my car, drove over. They even had a team out there with the signs.
Oh boy!
Go and stop. And they're trimming his. Because he had a sweet deal with Denny Palm. They had a Parks and Recs, and so how they had to get around it. I took it public, and they then had to offer that service to everyone in the city of Brooklyn Park.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Well, otherwise, he was receiving something a regular citizen couldn't receive. You can lose your job for that.
Yeah.
As a city councilman or a mayor, you can't receive something that any other citizen can't receive. And he's sitting there getting the city of Brooklyn Park doing his yard work.
You're considerably younger than Joe Biden, who will be 78 on inauguration. You are younger than Donald Trump.
Yep.
Do you think that you have a run in you as president of this country?
Left?
Yes.
To be honest?
Yes.
The only way I could do it, but the only way I'd have enough to do it was the way I explained it to the Greens. If you'll give me a clear path to the nomination.
Meaning what? Explain that. Explain that.
Well, a clear path means I don't want to go through like with the Green Party.
Mm-hmm.
They're fractured, and they're a party in disarray. And I would have had to fix them first, and then take on the Dems and Repubs.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Because what I will say about you, and I've always said it, no matter how much fun I've had with you, this country, I think, is desperately hungry for someone who is real. And you're real. What I'm hearing is what you get. That's you.
Yeah.
That's a virtue in my estimation.
You know what the difference between me and Trump is?
What?
I tell the truth.
Right, okay. Well, that'll prove to be the difference between you and Biden as well. What you hear from you is real.
Well, it's the truth as I know it, Joe, and I'm not above changing my mind.
Right.
And by the way, did you know the story? I should tell you this. We got a few minutes yet, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Did you hear the story about what happened to my TV show?
No.
Oh, you guys need to hear this one. Okay. I come out of office in 03, right?
Right.
I'm the hottest commodity out there.
That's right.
I'm the voice of the independent, been successful. So MSNBC, CNN, and Fox get a bidding award for me.
Mm-hmm.
MSNBC wins. So I signed a 3-year contract with them.
Mm-hmm.
This contract, Joe, was like a pro sports contract. Not as big as, Peyton Manning.
Right.
But it was healthy.
Yep.
So I sign a 3-year deal with them. I'm supposed to be on Rachel Maddow's time slot.
Right.
Monday through Friday. I tell MSNBC, look, I want to do the show from Minnesota here.
Yeah.
They said, why? I said, because all we get from you are coast perspective. We need something from the Midwest.
Clever.
Right.
And I said, my show's going to come from the Midwest, and I want a live audience so that we get live people responding, like Bill Maher.
Right.
Live audience. They're good with it. They send their people out. The whole show's being created. We're doing it over at Channel 2.
Right.
I provided, I think, 28 jobs to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
They're working on this show. People I didn't know, 28 jobs. We're about 2 weeks before going on the air, and we get a phone call. This is the spring of 03.
Right.
And here, I didn't get the call, but John Woodley did, who was working with me, had been my head of communications, was now with me on the TV show. Woodley gets the call from headquarters of CNN, or not CNN, MSNBC. And you know what MSNBC stands for, don't you?
I'm afraid to ask.
Yeah, I'm afraid to.
Microsoft NBC. No, it's a dual ownership between NBC and Microsoft. Bill Gates.
Okay.
I didn't know
that's
that.
why it's MSNBC.
All right.
Microsoft NBC. So we get a call from the headquarters. Woodley does. Here's the call. And it's right before we're going to invade Iraq. We haven't done it yet, but the drums are beaten, and I oppose the war. I opposed it from the start. We get the call. Is it true Governor Ventura doesn't support the invasion of Iraq? John Woodley goes, oh, yeah. He's a Vietnam veteran. He's vehemently opposed. He said this is Vietnam all over again. Second question, is there any chance he changes mind?
Ooh.
And or no, he opposes the war in Vietnam. Is there any chance he changes mind? Was the next question. And Woodley goes, I don't think so. He says, I've seen the governor change his mind when he becomes more educated on a subject. But he said, this is a war thing. He's a veteran, and he said, I doubt it. He ain't going to change his mind. Well, guess what happened?
They canned you.
The plug.
They pulled the plug on the whole show. At the same time, they had just brought back Phil Donahue from daytime. Phil Donahue likewise opposed the invasion of Iraq. They pulled Phil Donahue, and he was their top-rated show. So they pulled their top-rated show. They wouldn't put me on because of the fact we opposed the invasion of Iraq. So tell me why I should trust mainstream media when they're clearly under the control of the government. If they have the power to keep you off the air because of a political position you have.
What was in it for them to be so strongly in favor of the war in Iraq?
I don't know.
Weekly
But they
updates,
certainly
ratings,
were.
advertising.
I think it's because they get marching orders from the government, and they're all entwined together because our media promotes the government,
Right.
whatever the government decides to do.
Oh,
They're
please
gonna
tell me you
promote
got some money out of that deal. They just couldn't pull the. You had a contract.
Oh, I got it all.
Oh, okay.
The governor does not walk away empty-handed. I can guarantee you that.
Rookie doesn't call me Midas for nothing.
King Midas. You're right. Anything this guy touches turns to gold. I'm glad you remember that.
No, Joe, here's what happened to me. I got silenced.
Yep.
From 03 to 06,
Yep.
I had handcuffs on. I had tape over my mouth because my contract said I could not do any news shows and I could not do anything on cable or satellite TV.
I'll be damned.
They had me exclusively for 3 years.
Right.
They paid me every penny
Yep.
for 3 years. And that's why you didn't hear from me till after '06.
Okay.
Because I was under a contract with them. And when I went to Mexico, here's what happened. I went to Mexico on vacation when I got out of office. Sean Penn lined me up with a great thing down there. In '04, I went and taught at Harvard.
Yep,
And
I remember
became
that.
a Harvard fellow.
Mm-hmm.
In '05, I went back to Mexico again, traveled around, found the house I wanted, and bought it. Guess who paid for it?
MSNBC.
Yes. Now, it's time to teach you guys a little something about Mexican heritage or whatever.
All right.
Down there, homes are called casas.
All right.
Yes.
And everybody has a named casa.
Right.
Well, I came within an eyelash of naming mine Casa MSNBC. Because they bought my casa.
Yep. Yes, they did.
And even gave me more money besides.
You don't have a silo full of tortilla chips, do you?
A what?
A silo full of tortilla chips?
No.
Have you ever heard have you ever heard Will Sasso do an impression of you?
I don't know.
Oh, my God, Jesse. It's
more,
funny.
He's more like you than you are.
Well, that's great. You know, that's flattery is, that's the finest form of...
Governor, he should be writing you a check is what he should be doing.
I don't care.
Okay.
He can make a buck off doing my voice as long as he don't get me in trouble.
All right, everybody, let me talk to you turkey necks.
No, I mean, as long as he don't get me a lawsuit or get me in trouble or
Right.
anything like that, I
Right.
don't care.
Right.
What's the year
Can we
of these-
back up, guys? Can we back up? I've got this burning question for the governor, and it's back to weed and your health right now. I'm wondering how you're doing with pain and stuff from your wrestling career, and have you ever tried CBD or weed or anything for that pain?
Well, I've been involved in experimental medicine for a long time.
Yeah.
Do I have pain today? Not consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had my hip replaced.
Yeah.
You know, I had the new technique at the time in '08 called hip resurfacing.
Okay.
They don't actually cut your femur bone. They clean up your ball and socket, cover it with carbon titanium steel, and put you back together.
Oh, that
right.
sounds
No,
painful.
it's great. You don't have a cut femur bone.
Huh.
You know, and I got that through a friend in Mexico who's a triathlete, and he said that's what all happens to all the triathletes. They get this hip resurfacing, but you have to be a candidate for it. I had it done at Mayo, Dr. Truesdale, the best in the business. So I've had a hip replacement. I also I suffer from something today that I don't know if it's at all related to wrestling, but I have non-specific neuropathy of the feet,
Yep.
which basically means your feet are numb.
Yeah.
And when they tell you non-specific neuropathy, and that was Mayo too, that means your feet are numb and we don't know why.
Okay.
But that just means, though, that Joe might get a pretty good deal on that manual transmission Porsche, huh?
Yeah, you can't even push the
It's
clutch in.
difficult to drive it. But anyway, here's the deal with that. I have a hard time with my balance now.
I can identify.
Because people don't realize how much you need to feel your feet
Yeah.
until you lose it.
Right.
And like I've had to quit surfing
Oh, boy.
because I can't balance on the board no more.
Right.
You know, I can't have that feel which you need to have.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you're going to take a lot of tumbles at the wrong time.
Right.
What year are those Porsches?
Huh?
What year are those cars?
Oh, here we go.
Well, I got the big one. I got the one that it's a lapis blue metallic.
Yeah.
It's a 2003
Yeah.
911 bi-turbo.
Right.
Was that another MSNBC buy?
That was pre-MSNBC.
All right.
Bi-turbo, I think 450 or 500 horsepower, whatever it is, 6-speed.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing about this car, I got all the wood on the inside,
Oh,
wood
yeah.
steering wheel, wood, everything.
Yeah.
The great thing about it is I don't think it has 23,000 on it.
Oh, boy.
It's 17 years old and has only 22,000 miles.
Wow.
What's
It's
the other
never
one?
seen a snowflake.
Yeah.
And right now it's in my basement of my garage here up on the things
Right.
that keep the tires round.
Right. What's the other one?
The other one is it is the first Boxster S in the state of Minnesota.
Oh, boy.
That's a 00. and it was the first. They came out with the Boxster, and then they beefed it up with the Boxster S. I got the first Boxster S ever delivered here in 00. It's arena red with that kind of beige interior-like convertible, and that's my car I drive more. But that's a 00, 20 years old, and it's only got 65,000 on it.
Did you ever have to replace the intermediate shaft bearing?
Nope.
Well,
I've heard about that, but I haven't had to.
I heard about it the hard way because I sold my Boxster to a great young guy, and 2 weeks later the damn thing failed on him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I've heard about them. I've heard about it.
Yeah.
But I haven't. Mine's only got 65, and the guys, I take it to a great place up here in White Bear.
Yeah, Jesse, mine had 27,000, and it went.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to. We don't need to hold you with car talk.
No,
here.
but what did you do with the one you had in 97?
No, my 91.
90, yeah. What
That would have been my Baltic Blue one.
Yeah, okay.
Sold it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, I just sold it. I seen it one day.
Yeah.
All right, but now let's get
Somebody
back.
locally bought it, and it was up at the Porsche place that I take mine to.
Okay.
We've got one more weed question, and it comes from Hemp John. Come on the air, Johnny. What do you got? Remember Hemp John?
Vaguely.
He was the John Bernbach. He was always trying to get you on the air with the hemp legalization, etc., all that kind of stuff. And he was a good fan of the show way back when.
Okay.
Jesse, have we given you enough time? You've been very great.
Well, whatever, but, it's like, actually, I enjoyed coming on today because with the pandemic, how it is,
Yeah.
God, you don't talk to nobody.
Right. And plus, I'm not the media, so, you've got that figured out.
Oh, yeah.
No, but it is that way. You don't talk to anybody, so when you get an opportunity to, you kind of really enjoy it when it happens because it is. It's like we're living under house arrest now.
Right.
Where you got to sit in your home and check in and out and all that. But we got to do it, and I don't know how to plead with people. These people that think they're American heroes running around with their flags and no masks and all that, they need to wake up. Mm-hmm. And understand that this pandemic doesn't know countries.
When do you go to Mexico? When do you go to Mexico? Or are you going?
I don't think I can.
Okay. All right.
Not this year because we just talked to our caretaker down there, and he suggested we stay home.
Really?
Yeah, because he said they're batting down there, and I imagine my health care here might be a little better if I do get it than
I think so.
Being down in the end of the Baja.
Right.
Although I will say this, at least Mexico gives you credit for being an adult. Mm-hmm. No, when it comes to, because you can buy most drugs right over the counter down there.
Well, I did not know that.
It's one of the benefits, huh? One of the perks of living in the Baja.
No, and I'm not talking about pot and things like that. I'm talking about your regular pharmaceutical drugs.
Oh, I see.
How are the prices?
Here you got to run to the doctor to get.
Yeah.
Right.
Down
How are the
they
prices?
treat you like an adult. You can walk in and buy the stuff.
Yeah.
Is it expensive? Is it marked up, or is it a good price?
Well, I don't know. Just that here you need prescriptions for everything. You got to go to the doctor, and you can like I'm on blood thinners, right?
Right.
I can't get more than 30 at a time.
Right.
Oh God!
Now,
Don't get
me
me
a break.
started.
Who
Oh,
buys blood thinners to get high?
yes.
Nobody.
No.
There's no market for them. And when I go to Mexico, I'm in a dilemma because I go there for 90 days, and they'll only give me a 30-day supply.
Yeah.
And I go, what do I do now? Buy them off the streets down there? Do I get, because I'm on the ship, what is it now? I forget, what's the name of the stuff? No, I'm not on either of them. I left that.
You Coumadin?
Coumadin?
No, I left Coumadin.
Lisinopril?
And I put the one that Arnold Palmer the golfer advertised it.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Zantac?
No.
But it's another form of Xarelto.
Xarelto.
I'm on Xarelto now. They'll only give you 30 days of it.
Yeah.
And I say to them, but I'm leaving for 90.
Yeah, that's
What
right.
am I supposed to do, not take it for 60?
I think
and you're an adult, and you figure, can't they give you a 4-month supply?
You think so?
I'm going to overdose blood thinners.
this would be a great endorsement for you. I can hear it now. Doodle-doodle-doodle Xarelto. Doodle-doodle-doodle Xarelto. Doodle-doodle-doodle Xarelto. down
that's
in Mexico.
hysterical.
But you know, and I'll tell you what else is great about Mexico, Joe.
Yeah.
And I'm considering moving. If Terry would do it, I'd move to Mexico permanently.
Yep.
The taxes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, no, their whole system.
Yeah.
We always knock Mexico for being stupid and corrupt and all this. Are you kidding me? Do you know how their tax system works?
I don't.
Oh, you'll know now. Your taxes are due, property tax. You own a home, right, Joe?
Right.
Okay. Imagine if you lived under this. Your property taxes are due in March.
Okay.
If you agree, like I do, to go down on January 28th,
Right.
which means February is only 28 days.
Right.
If you go down like I do on January 28th and pay your property taxes,
Yeah.
Mexico knocks off 20%.
Oh, boy.
If you do it in February, they knock off 10%.
Oh, boy.
If you do it in March, it's the normal price, and then, of course, April, the fines start.
Oh, my.
But if you pay early, now, here's my question. I do it the end of January, so in 30 days, I get 20% on my money. Tell me an investment that would do that.
I can't come up with
Once
one.
again, I give you King Midas.
No, in 30 days,
Yeah.
I get 20. And now it don't end there. Here's the best part. I actually was contemplating of going after dual citizenship,
Right.
Mexican and U.S., because if you're a Mexican citizen, on the day you turn 65, your property taxes, whether you own a palatial mansion or a shack, get cut in half.
Wow. You got to talk Terry into the right thing here.
No, they get cut in half because the Mexicans understand that you work your whole life for your home, and when you get 65, your income, it becomes harder to earn income. And they understand that, and they don't want you thrown out of your home.
Right.
So they cut your... Imagine how many old people up here lose their houses because they're on fixed income and they keep raising taxes on them.
It's a terrible problem. We talk about it all the time
There
on
you go.
Garage Logic.
Yet in Mexico, they cut your property taxes in half
Yeah.
when you turn 65, but they're the dummies, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's my predicament. I was going to get dual citizenship, right? You know what stopped me?
Huh.
RT.
No.
Putin said no way.
What stopped me was part of the things you got to do to get Mexican citizenship.
Yeah.
You got to be able to sing their anthem. Christ, I can't even sing ours. I knew I was dead meat at that point. There's no way I'm learning this anthem.
Just ripped up the paperwork and threw it away, huh?
Well, it all goes back to that great joke you heard about the illegal immigrant that was up here.
No.
Yeah, he was up here and he went to the ball game and he said, I don't know why everyone thinks that the United States is so hostile to us illegal immigrants. He said, when I went to the ball game, they all stood up at the start and asked if I could see.
Hold on. He gets
the
one
whole
of these.
crowd stood up and said, Jose, can you see?
Yeah. Boom.
What was the best thing about being the governor? What was the biggest perk?
Biggest perk, I would say, is the international travel.
Yeah.
Because I got to go to places and be treated very exceptionally well. I went to China, and I'll never forget getting an audience and sitting down for 1 hour with Fidel Castro.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that had to be fascinating.
Oh, I'll tell you quickly. Castro and I became friends.
Really?
You're cozying up to Castro.
First
I
of
never
all,
would have guessed.
First of all, he told me I had to come back to Cuba and next time bring my wife and family, and he would take care of me. I never did, and I regret it today that I didn't. I imagine he would have put me up pretty good on the beach.
Yeah, probably.
And second of all, Castro I got the chance to sit with him for an hour, and with 20 minutes to go, I glanced down at my watch, and he caught me. And he looked at me and said, I'm sorry, am I keeping you from something?
Oh, boy.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, be honest. I said, no, sir. But I said, you've only given me 1 hour, and I have only 20 minutes left. And I said, I would hope I could ask you some personal questions.
Yeah.
Castro looked at me and said, ask me anything you want. So I said, well, I was about 12 or 13 years old when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And I said, I've been studying that assassination for virtually my entire adult life. And I said, there's many scenarios that you figure very prominently in. I said, I would just like to hear your take on the day President John Kennedy was murdered. Oh, my God, I couldn't shut him up.
Really?
Wow.
The first thing he told me was it was an inside job.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing, he said, Oswald couldn't make the shots. You know that as well as I.
Right.
That's what he said to me. Third, he said, a lot of people like to put the blame on me. He looked me right in the eye. He said, do I look suicidal to you? I said, no, sir. He said, well, I'm not. And he said, I love my country too much. Mm-hmm. If I would have killed Kennedy, Cuba would have been wiped off the face of the earth.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
He said, I would never put my country in that position. Ever. He said it was an inside job. And then he told me, he said he believed that Kennedy was on the verge of changing his policy to Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said, at that moment, a reporter Kennedy had sent to me named Jean Daniel was setting up a clandestine meeting between Castro and Cuba, or Castro and JFK.
Right.
And when word came in that Kennedy had been killed in Dallas, and I learned this later by looking up Jean Daniel, the reporter. When Kennedy was announced he was killed in Dallas, Daniel said Castro immediately dropped his head and stared at the floor and was silent for about 2 minutes. When he lifted his head up, he looked and said quietly, this is bad, this is very bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so having an audience for 1 hour with Fidel Castro, and then it even went on from there. When I announced I was not going to seek re-election, one day I was going home. I wanted to go back out to my house, and Bosacker, my chief of staff, said, no, you got to go to the governor's residence. I said, what for? It's Friday. You know, I don't want to go there.
Fun Friday.
You know? And he kind of looked around and whispered, Cuba.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay. So I went to the governor's residence, and I'm there. In comes the Swiss embassy car, because, you know, Cuba can't have no relationship here.
Right.
Back then. Guy from the Swiss embassy, I bring him in the library, sits down. He said, well, you know I'm here on behalf of Cuba. I said, yes, sir, I know that. He said, I have a message for you from Cuba. And I said, okay, what is it? He said, the message is this. Cuba understands that you're not seeking re-election, but Cuba also wants you to understand that a friend of Cuba will always be a friend of Cuba.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. In other words, even though I was giving up my power, Fidel, because when he said Cuba, that's another word for Fidel.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, Fidel's sending you the message, you're still my friend.
Wow. Yeah, but he was
you hold an office or not.
He was a murdering dictator.
He was not any. He was better than Batista.
Yeah. Okay.
Because here's your argument, Joe. I imagine there's a lot of murdering dictators when you got to take over a country. It's the nature of the business.
Yeah.
Second of all, Castro could have never won if the people weren't behind him.
Yeah.
There's no way he lands with those 100 guys on the one coast and survives.
Right.
He had the people with him, so that means Batista was way worse than him. And I argue that with my Cuban friend Rick Sanchez at RT all the time.
Yeah. I'm going to defer to you because you obviously have more experience there than I do, for Pete's sake.
So when the Swiss Army or the Swiss car came up and he got out, you knew it was somebody important. Do you remember what happened when I came to visit you with my kids that one day when you were down in the basement? Do you remember what movie you were watching?
No.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Well, Was I?
Yeah, it was down with that ugly yellow furniture in the basement.
Yeah.
And you were eating a deliciously prepared, it was a cherry tart. So that's what I was hinting at when I was asking, what's the biggest perk about being governor? It's so you got some guy cooking for you all the time.
Oh, that's good, but that's bad, too, though, because I gained a lot of weight.
Okay. I'll remember that when I run.
And plus the other bad thing, you do nothing but go to lunches.
Yeah.
So you're pounding in all this food, and you don't get enough time to exercise. That's the great thing about the pandemic for me right now. Oh, man, I'm in the best shape I've been in 10 years.
Really? You're working out.
I saw a picture of you in August, and you look fantastic.
Well, I this morning, before I did this show, I went downstairs and did 50 sets of weights, 750 repetitions.
Any burpees?
No, this is weights.
Oh.
And all in 2 hours. And then I have an hour rest and then come on with you guys. But I work, and tomorrow I'll do 5 miles on the elliptic machine.
Hold on, one more thing, Governor. We've heard half the story from Rookie, but Rookie tried to tell the Arnold Schwarzenegger story, I believe, promoting the fact that you were going to be on the show.
You remember your roast?
Remember what now?
Do you remember your roast at the prom center?
I don't know. I don't remember.
When I came out and I had all the, I had the tights on, I had the big foam arms.
I don't remember it, Rook. Sorry.
Oh. Well, it was. I did a perfect imitation.
Rookie, you do so many stupid things. It's hard to recall them.
It really is. It really
Ain't that the
We'll
truth?
leave well enough alone.
We're saving that as a liner for
Leave well
sure.
enough alone.
Oh, that's so true.
Jesse, thank you very much, and I hope we can do it again.
Absolutely, Joe. And I wish you well. Wish your family well. Stay safe, please, and please tell people as much as you can to wear the masks.
We will.
My God, let's get through this thing and get back to normal life in Minnesota.
All right, I agree. Say hello to your family.
I sure will. All right, you guys, take care.
Thank
Give
you
the
very
First Lady
much.
a big hug for me.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
bye-bye.
See you, bro.
Thank you.
Holy cow. Wasn't that phenomenal?
What an honor. God, that was fun. I've still got a whole page of questions I
Kenny,
wanted
you were
to
writing
ask
notes
him.
as this was going on.
I do. I have a whole bunch of things I want to talk to him about.
He's amazing. We're on the air.
Yeah, shut him up. You know
Okay,
what?
I guess I'll
what?
cut that out.
Such, you know what I wanted to do is I wanted to get you and the governor in a cage match about the Electoral College.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like
he
it, and
hates
you
it.
do. And I
want
just
to
thought
bring
it
him
would
back. I want to have him on again.
Yeah,
was
well,
fantastic.
And he's clearly
have to
looking
cut
for
him a-
stuff to do.
Right.
cut him a check.
I'm not cutting him a check. He'll come back for a podcast sticker.
The media.
Yeah.
You know what that makes me want to do?
What?
Fry up a meatloaf.
From where?
Hey, I tell you what. I did what you told me to over the weekend.
Yeah.
I got the Grundhofer porchetta out.
Yep.
I put it in the crock pot frozen. I didn't even thaw it.
Oh, wow, okay.
I put it in frozen yesterday morning at about 7:45.
Yep.
By 6 o'clock, it was
Falling apart.
It was unbelievable.
What'd you put in with it?
Nothing.
Hey.
Absolutely nothing.
Jesse,
doing it all right.
Jesse lives out near Grundhofer's.
Oh, that's
It would be a
right.
very short run for him to get up to Grundhofer's. Maybe that's where I'll get their Thanksgiving turkey. Free range fresh turkeys, $2.99 a pound. You can even call ahead to Grundhofer's Old Fashioned Meats in Hugo, 651-426-2800. But don't kid yourself. You still have to go to the store. When you do, you will succumb to the temptations of meatertainment. Meatloaf, brats, tomahawk steaks, Philly patties, rookie burgers, thick cut bacon, double smoked ham, you name it. And right now, free range fresh turkeys. It'll be the best turkey you've ever had. $2.99 a pound. This is Grundhofer's Old Fashioned Meats. It's on Highway 61. Where else? Right at the north end of Hugo.
He's so close to Governor Ventura that Governor Ventura makes him call him governor. It's Joe Soucheray.
And then I ended up calling him Jesse the whole show.
Yes,
Called him Eddie.
He called me governor. And then I called him Jesse the whole show.
Kenny, who are you calling?
I'm calling Moon Motorsports. They're the family-owned palatial motorsports shop up in Monticello. They've been doing it for 50 years with a full shop, parts department, and apparel division all in the house, and the largest selection of ATVs, side-by-side, sleds, and bikes in the region. You can see them all at moonmotorsports.com. Speaking of motorcycles, Honda, Honda, BMW, Triumph, Yamaha, KTM, Can-Am, and Ducati. Price is always better right now in the fall and winter. That means it's time to get out there and buy a new bike. Many manufacturers are offering excellent savings right now, some with no payments until 2021, and Moon Motorsports will give you free storage over the winter for the rest of 2020 if you buy a motorcycle now. But right now, also a great time to save big on Michelin and Dunlop tires. And if you buy in the next couple of weeks, that is before December 1st, Moon Motorsports are going to pick it up and deliver your bike for free. So there's a lot going on right now at Moon. Great bike deals, can't miss offers on Michelin and Dunlops, and snowmobile season on the way. You got to exit Monticello. Stroll on in. MoonMotorsports.com, a good place to start. They've been making dreams a reality up in Monticello for generations. Your dream bike, it's sitting there on the showroom floor waiting for you. Check it out, MoonMotorsports.com.
When we started the show today, I said this is Garage Logic podcast number 500. We thought number 500 was tomorrow. But at 8:23 a.m. today, I got an email from Paul W. Humrickhouse, who writes, just wanted to wish you gentlemen a happy 500th podcast today. Yes, number 500 today, Monday, November 16, 2020.
Oh.
Perhaps you thought you were doing 499 today, but back on May 8th and May 11th, you followed podcast number 380 with another podcast number 380.
Oh, no.
That makes today 500. Enjoy official Garage Logic counter, Paul. So we verified this, and we can't ignore the evidence.
Here we go.
How do we
Here
know
go.
we haven't screwed up?
Here we go.
Fratelloni's Ace Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic podcast number 380, May 8th, 2020.
All right.
Now,
May 8th, 2020, you called that 380.
right?
Take two.
Fratelloni's Ace Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic podcast number 380. The high for this day was 88 degrees, and that occurred in 1900. And,
That was
it
May
as
11th,
cold as
right,
20.
2020.
So there was a glitch in our counting. So today was number 500.
By our counting, you mean your.
Mine.
Okay, but how do we know that we haven't made a mistake from 380 to 499?
Oh,
Well,
good
let's
point.
not worry about
No, we're going to just...
You know what, Rook?
This is 500
Okay,
today.
you're
I'll go
calling.
back through every single
Okay,
since
good,
day
good.
one when
Or-
we had the infamous start.
Or we can rely on our listeners to do our work for us.
Under
That's-
your direction.
Under my direction, please somebody verify that those numbers are
Thanks to
correct.
Jesse Ventura. That was great.
That
Yes,
was
Governor Ventura was
and
fantastic.
Rookie, great job setting that up. You,
Yeah.
I sat through, if I told you how many hours I had to sit with him on the phone, I knew every story that he told.
He loves to talk.
it was fantastic.
He's lonely during the
Oh,
pandemic.
it's just great.
If I heard this when I was on the phone with him one more time, one final note, Rook, then I'll let you go. There was about 4 or 5 of those.
It took every ounce I had not to ask him solely AWA questions. All I wanted to do was talk to him about wrestling.
Because you held back, he'll come back.
All right, thanks, GLers.
PodMN. You want to hear the prior $4.99? You can at PodMN on your smartphone, or you can go to podmn.com, and that's on your computer. Special shout out to Fratelloni's Ace Hardware and Garden Stores for all of their, what would you say?
Years of dedicated partnership.
Oh, that's good enough. Well put. I'll just shut up. I'll be over here.
Hey, now you can do your impersonation.
Do what now? I don't know.
It is time once again that we check in with our guy, Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold is with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And now is the time for you to do the same. So do not delay. Do exactly what I did and pick up that phone and dial 952-925-5608. That number once again is 952-925-5608. When you call that number, you're going to get Josh. And he is there for you for that free, yes, I use the word free, 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And he will always give you the straight talk. He will never give you the sugar-coated advice. And he is on the line with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And boy, Josh, are we eating enough red meat?
Nah, forget the red meat. I don't know whether you're eating enough red meat or not, but you may not be eating enough hamburgers. McDonald's reported their numbers today, and it was an okay, not a great report, just okay. People are not eating enough hamburgers at McDonald's. They are eating some chicken. They are eating some of the wraps, but not eating enough hamburgers. And, of course, the cost of French fries continues to go up. McDonald's said that their focus on lower-income households has really put a damper on their business, as costs for lower-income households continue to rise for other, so I'll say for other parts of their spending. So that has reduced the spending that they would normally do at McDonald's. McDonald's has, however, picked up customers in, we'll say, middle and upper middle class, but they're going for the non-value meals. McDonald's does believe that they could have a turnaround coming up, but they are trying to focus on more value-oriented deals, which in my mind means smaller portions to bring down prices. So that's just something to pay attention to. With the focus that McDonald's has said on things could get better, and we're going to focus more on value-oriented meals, the stock, which had been down, picked up a little bit today. But McDonald's numbers do show something that several other consumer companies have shown, that the consumer is not necessarily cutting back, but being very, very selective in their spend. So we'll see how that translates going forward, and particularly in other retail names. I do know that some of this has showed up before with Walmart's earnings, Costco's earnings, and Target's earnings. Although some of this report or change in consumer behavior reflected at Target, has more to do with Target's assortment than anything else. Amazon, on the other hand, when they had reported, showed much better results, at least on the retail level, than had been expected. Amazon's numbers, as we reported earlier this week, were both a beat and a raise going forward, and Amazon's retail numbers were pretty good at that, and Amazon today saw a nice kick up, but that's due more to a deal that Amazon Web Services struck with OpenAI, and analysts really got excited about that rather than the retail business. But I thought, okay, Amazon's beat and raise quarter is finally being, we'll say, rewarded a little bit today, and I am still very positive on Amazon going forward, and I do have a price target on that at $300 a share. That's not going to happen tomorrow or by the end of the year, and shares in Amazon as well as McDonald's or any other stock will fluctuate. And you do remember that I have been cautious because August typically brings a market pullback. So, if you're buying shares, don't buy a full portion. Just keep some cash on the sideline to take advantage of any, pullback coming on. Speaking of pullback and also consumers, Disney reported their numbers this morning. Very interesting report. Disney beat on the bottom line pretty well, but on the top line, their revenue had a miss. As we'll say, parks were not as good as their streaming service did very well, and Straight Up TV, so that's ABC, was also a laggard. But ESPN is starting to pick up, and ESPN is cutting a deal with the NFL, where the NFL is going to get an equity stake in ESPN in exchange for media rights for the Red Zone and other products coming from the NFL. Plus, ESPN cut a new 5-year deal with the WWE for, we'll say, $1.8 billion. That may not have, and I'll say initially, that deal gave a little bit of a boost to TKO, which owns the WWE, along with owning Ultimate Fighting. And TKO has pulled back, I'll say, significantly today, ahead of their earnings tonight. I would say that there had been back in February tremendous amount of inside buying of TKO between $162 a share and $174 a share on TKO. But I'm guessing that many analysts or shareholders are selling ahead of the earnings on concerns, again, about consumer behavior, or maybe on concerns that the WWE and UFC is not going to show enough either advertising revenue or deals to promote their products. This, to me, could offer an opportunity in TKO, but again, TKO does not have a lot of heavy trading in it, as would some other companies out there. And lastly, I do have to bring up favorite Apple, whose stock took a very nice jump today on the backs of an announcement that will formally come this afternoon with Tim Cook in the Rose Garden with President Trump. Tim Cook is to announce an additional $100 billion investment spread over the next 4 years to invest in new manufacturing plants in the United States. That adds to Apple's $500 billion commitment over about the same period of time to, increase their manufacturing capabilities here in the United States. So that is a nice plus for Apple. And as we said earlier, again, just like Amazon, Apple beat the street and raised their guidance into the next quarter despite all of the tariff concerns out there. So again, I am excited about, I'll say, what I have in my portfolio, but again, I do recommend to you, as I do to my clients, keep some cash available for the inevitable pullback that could come over the next several weeks, so you can add to shares at a discount.
Excellent advice. As always, Mr. Money Talk. You heard him, GLers. Now is the time for you to pick up the phone and make the call for that free 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And you do that just like I did by dialing 952-925-5608, where you always get straight talk and never, ever sugar-coated advice. Josh, once again, thank you so much for the time and the chat and the flexibility today. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Have a